So if you are looking for a way to outsmart the narcissist in your life, you have to stay and watch this episode, because I'm going to give you the exact blueprint you need to do so that the narcissist in your life literally feels like they have lost, because that is like a narcissist's worst nightmare. So stay tuned right to the end. Hi everybody, my name is Caroline Strawson and I'm a positive psychology trauma coach and somatic therapist. And literally my passion is to help people just like yourself move from post-traumatic stress to post-traumatic growth after the trauma of narcissistic abuse, because that's exactly what it is. It is trauma. And I don't want you to feel like you are on your own. That's why I set up my whole YouTube channel, so that you know you can always come for a safe space and start to learn about narcissism, because there are so many people out there talking about narcissism, and I like to bring a lot of the trauma-informed approach about all of this. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell so you never miss any of my episodes, and also go and have a trawl through as well. Go and have a look at some of my other videos all the way through, because you will get a whole masterclass lesson in narcissism, narcissistic abuse, how you can help yourself move forward, parenting as well. You know, I did a video the other week on parenting with a narcissist, which went absolutely crazy, because I know it's one of the things many of you really, really struggle with too. But in this episode, I want to talk to you about how do you outsmart the narcissist. Now, that might seem like an impossibility, because, you know, sometimes you feel like you're literally walking in treacle, don't you? And you're really unable to do anything, because the narcissist always seems to win. And this is what it is all about with a narcissist. They want to win. It's not a case of that healthy area where you can have a conversation and there are boundaries, and even if you don't agree, then that's okay. Narcissist isn't like that. A narcissist either has to win or lose. So what I'm going to share with you really will make the narcissist feel like they have lost. And that is like the narcissist's worst nightmare. How do you do that? How do you actually outsmart a narcissist? Well, one of the key things that happens when we start to recognize we've been in a relationship with a narcissist is we really focus on the narcissist. And I really understand that. We want to know, are they born like that? You know, why aren't they apologizing? Why is there no ownership or responsibility of their behavior? Why is it you can't have a conversation? Will they ever change? Etc., etc., etc. And I understand that is part of the process once we realize we've been in a relationship with a narcissist. But what can happen is you end up literally, that is all you focus on. That's why I am so passionate about my YouTube channel, because I want to educate you, but not just to educate you on the narcissist, but educate how can you stop feeling the way that you do? How can you stop these emotional trauma responses when you are around the narcissist? You know, where has it come from? So one of the key things I would say is in the show notes, go and have a little look below. I have done a whole masterclass on the psychology of a narcissist. It's so important, I get, for you to understand these things. And I talk about so many different elements in this masterclass for you that will really help you have a really great understanding of what a narcissist is and the psychology of them, because I get it is part of your process, but I don't want you to be spending endless hours and hours and hours almost getting a PhD in narcissism, where actually you doing that doesn't actually help you. And actually that is the narcissist winning, because all you're doing then is focusing your energy on them. So yes, I understand it is part of your process, but go and watch my masterclass, because literally that is what you would need to know. And then little tidbits on top of all of that you can know, but not to the extent where all of your time is spent looking at the narcissist. So go and watch that masterclass. Make sure that you register for that. It's free, and you can go ahead and watch that too. So how do you actually outsmart the narcissist? We've kind of got to know a little bit about what a narcissist is. How do we then get the narcissist to feel like they have lost? Well, a number of things. The first one is we do not engage in communication with them. Now, yes, I understand if you have children, that can be really, really challenging, right? But if you do not have any children with a narcissist and there is no reason for you to have communication with them, you delete and block on everything. You literally go extreme, no contact, nada, nothing. Okay, you do not need to carry on having communication if you have not had any other ties with them. Okay, you don't need to, because if you do, what you're doing is it's almost like you've got that little door cracked open, ready for the narcissist to stick their head around again and try and suck you back in and start the abuse, okay? So we want complete no contact. Yes, I understand this can be difficult if you have children, or maybe it's a family member, maybe it's your mother or your father. And I understand that can be really, really challenging in a family dynamic, can't it? Because, we're meant to keep contact with our blood family. Well, that's not actually true. You don't have to. You as the adult have choice, but you can create very, very clear boundaries. And it's the same if your ex is a narcissist too. We want to set up something which is called extreme modified contact. And you are the one in control of all of that. So that would be things like setting up a brand new email address for them, for instance, especially from a parenting perspective. Because I understand you still need to show the courts a box ticked that there is an element of communication, because we want to put the children at the heart of your breakup, not in the middle where it's like you're pulling the kids apart. And the narcissist will try and make that happen, but it can only happen if you also engage in that. You have to stay in your lane. So one of the key things for you to really outsmart the narcissist here is for you to stay in your own lane. Don't get caught up in what they may or may not do, because we don't know that. You need to stay in your lane. Literally, email access, an old phone. I did a whole episode on how to parent with a narcissist. Go and watch that, because it will really help you then with the finer details of how to set up parallel parenting. You can't co-parent with a narcissist, parallel parenting with a narcissist. And I literally take you through a step-by-step way of doing all of that too. So we want you to stay in your own lane. This will drive the narcissist crazy. You may even notice an increase in escalation of the abuse that they are trying to behave towards you with, but you need to stay in your lane. It will get easier over time with that. I know it can seem scary to start off with, but if you do that, it will massively help your nervous system to start to feel safer. So we're staying in our lane. The next point is something that we call grey rock. So in those moments when you do have to see them or have to communicate with them, because I get it, I'm not here to say, eradicate them from your life. Yeah, I would love to be able to say that. But we live in the real world where we might have parents, or we may have an ex-partner and we have children together. Now, the grey rock method is literally when you are around them, you give them zero personal information. Zero. They will try and gain personal information to try and crack that door open again, especially with your parents too, okay? But what we do is we grey rock it, we shut it down, and we bring it back to them. Because, hey, guess what a narcissist loves talking about? Themselves. So if you are grey rocking with them, we give zero information about yourself, and we can, if we have to have these conversations with them too, just bring it back to them. So if they ask you something personal, you just say, oh, I'll tell you about that in a moment. What have you done with this? Okay, so you're immediately bringing it back to them, and they will go into their element as such. It will only be later then when they start to think, I have no information about you, that's when, again, the abuse can start to escalate. But it doesn't matter how they behave. It's the lane that you are staying in as well. So grey rock is literally giving zero information out. You can still have conversations with them, but you're not actively engaging in them. And it's short sentences. The grey rock method is not about you having to justify yourself all of the time. We want to take that off the table. Justifying part of you is all to do with your inner child wounds, because you're trying to justify something in the hope that if you justify it, they may see something a bit differently, and then how their behavior will get dialed down. And that isn't the case. That's the inner work, which I'll come to in a moment. So what we want to do in these scenarios is literally grey rock, no information about yourself, put it back onto them, short sentences. If you get an email, we don't send an essay back. And what I would always advise you with emails and things is literally write it out, keep it very short, then go back and think, do I need to say that? Do I need to say that? And literally we make statements when we send that email back, shorten it. Often when I work with my one-to-one clients, they will show me some of the messages and I will help and support them how to send them back. So often I will say, well, write what you would send back first, because I want to empower my client to be able to do this themselves, not me write it for them. And then when they've done that, they'll send it to me and I will literally go through going, no, and we'll take all of these bits away. So what might have been 25 lines suddenly becomes 3 lines that go back. 0 information, literally point in question, that is it. Nothing else. We don't engage in anything. We don't justify anything else. Because remember, ultimately, a narcissist always has options. They can go and seek out legal advice if they so choose to. But very often they will try and scare you into, oh, I'm going to see a lawyer, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to take you for that, and everything else. You get really, really scared. You start to engage. You try and justify things in the hope that then they won't do that. Well, if they're going to do that, they're going to do that anyway, okay? So you need to focus on your mental health. And this brings me into the final part of how you can outsmart the narcissist, and that is focusing on you. The narcissist's biggest nightmare is a healed version of yourself. So if you start to work on yourself, and when I say work on yourself, talking therapy is very good for validating your experiences. And I hope by watching all of my videos, I'm validating your experience because I see you, I hear you, and I believe you. But talking therapy will only get you so far. You have to do the body work, which is what we call the somatic work. You have to do that. Trauma literally gets locked inside our body. And trauma from narcissistic abuse isn't the narcissist. It's what you are saying to yourself on a really deep level in your body about the narcissist. They're behaving like this. I have been abused because I'm not good enough. I am worthless. I'm not important. I'm unlovable. Now, consciously and cognitively using our front part of the brain, you may know that you are lovable and worthy and good enough. And you might have all these great affirmations you say to yourself all of the time. But the moment someone treats you like that, your body will take over. Emotion overrides logic every single time. So we need to work in the body when we are processing and healing the trauma from narcissistic abuse. It's so important. This is why so many people stay stuck, not just for months, but for years, because we have to work in the body. Now, this is all covered in one of my low-cost healing programs, the Narcissistic Trauma Recovery Program, because it's trauma-informed. And in there, we have brain spotting, internal family systems, EMDR, positive psychology, breath work, vagus nerve toning exercises, because we really look at all of your healing through a trauma-informed lens and really looking at the nervous system regulation part of it. It's really interesting actually doing the program too, because you learn so much about yourself, your attachment styles, because all of this is a contributory factor as to why we're in these relationships with a narcissist. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility if you want to heal. It doesn't sadly just happen as time goes on. You've got to work in the body, because believe me, if you knew me 10 years ago, wouldn't have recognized me. And this is why I'm so passionate about my work, because I was trying lots of talking stuff at the time as well. And whilst it was really helping validate, it's actually starting to feel worse, because what happens if we just keep talking about it is we're wiring it even more into our nervous system, and we feel even more agitated, we feel even lower, we feel even more exhausted too. So we have to do that body work with all of this too. And again, if you look below, you can see a link to my program. Have a look. May not be for you. If it's not right now, that's fine. Come and join my free group though, okay? Please don't be alone in any of this. I want you to know that there is hope with all of this, and you can absolutely outsmart the narcissist. I know I drive my ex-husband crazy. Now, I get it. I'm probably a little bit more extreme because I'm out there shouting about it all of the time, because I don't want you to feel how I felt for so long as well. So I definitely feel like if you're looking at it from a win-lose perspective, I feel like I need a trophy going, yay, I win. And let's be honest, when I talk about winning and losing, I don't actually feel of it like that myself, but that's how the narcissist will feel. So if you are there with the trophy at the end, healing yourself, literally grey rocking your lane, stream modified contact or no contact, believe me, that is outsmarting the narcissist. You will drive them crazy if you do those things, because they will then think that they've lost. Yes, they may escalate their behavior, but what will happen is they will then start to seek out somebody else to gain their narcissistic supply, and that will give you the opportunity to finally breathe as well. So let me know as well, what other tactics have you tried to outsmart the narcissist? What has driven the narcissist in your life crazy? When you have done that, I would love to hear your stories in the comments below too. Because it's important that we share that, because your story that someone reads below may inspire somebody else too. And we are all in this together, right? We're a family in all of this because we've all experienced the same sorts of things where people may not believe us, or people may think that we are the crazy ones, that why can't we just snap out of it? Why can't we just forget about it? You know, that you can't just forget about trauma. This is what we're talking about. So I hope that really helps. Don't forget, subscribe to my channel, hit that bell, make sure you don't miss any of these. And just a final reminder, this does not need to be how you are forevermore. You can move from post-traumatic stress to post-traumatic growth, but time doesn't do that. You have to do your inner work. So take care, everybody. Lots of love. See you on the next episode.